I thought this was going to be just straight action all the time, but there's a really nice story thrown in here, and it's a cool movie. Hello, welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Khaleel Ward. On this episode, I'll be talking about Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In. It's on Amazon Prime. The movie came out last year. It's a Hong Kong martial arts action movie. It takes place in 1980s Hong Kong. Early on, we get a synopsis of the walled in city. It's lawless. There's gangs. There's drugs, prostitution going on. And it's run by this dragon head named Lu and his right-hand man, the king of killers. That's what they call him because he kills a lot of people. Anyway, we learned that this guy named Cyclone and some others team up to fight Lu. And Cyclone comes out on top, and now he controls the walled-in city. We follow this character named Chan. He ends up in this underground fight. He wins the fight, and he just wants the money. The fight was put on by the Triads, led by this guy named Mr. Big. And when Chan wants the money, Mr. Big is like, yo, you should work for me. You're a pretty good fighter. Chan is like, I don't want to work for the Triads. So they don't give him the money. And they like, what you want? And Chan is like, I just want an ID because he's like a refugee or something. And they're like, okay, we can do that for you. Come back in 2 weeks. We got you. He comes back in 2 weeks. They give him this cheap looking ID. He's like, I can't use this. This is terrible. And they're like, yeah, that's what you get. Get out of here. You're not getting nothing. So Chan, as he's leaving, he just grabs a bag of money and he runs off. And they chase him, and that's where we get our first little fight scene. It's nothing crazy or intense. They're on a bus and they're fighting, but we do meet Mr. Big's henchman. We learn that his name is King later on, and he has an interesting way of fighting. I'll talk about that later. Chan gets away, and he ends up in the walled city. And the people chasing him, they stop. They're like, all right, that's Cyclone's turf. We can't do nothing about it. So Chan is running around, and when he stops and takes a moment to breathe, he realizes he stole drugs, and it's not money. So he's in the walled city. In the walled city, under Cyclone's protection, it's like a community. Yeah, there are people doing drugs and everything, but there's like people are serving food, people are getting haircuts. It's a lot of activity going on. So Chan learns where they are selling drugs. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna try to get these drugs off and get this money. And Cyclone's people are on him real fast. He gets beat up by Cyclone himself and the other people. And they're like, what do you want? And he's just like, yo, I stole this from the Triads. I just want some money so I can get this ID. Cyclone looks out for him. Like, that's what Cyclone does. He's the OG there, and he looks out for him. He's like, give me the drugs. And he settles the debt with Mr. Big. And he tells Chan, like, yo, your debt is settled or whatever. Now Chan is just like, I don't know what to do. So he just starts living in the walled city. But he's like on the outskirts. Like, he's sleeping on the roof. But he's doing a little bit of everything to help out around the city. Whatever they need done, he's doing it. So he has multiple jobs, and he's just keeping his head down, trying to save some money so he can get this ID. And Cyclone sees like that he's working, and he brings him into the fold with his other people, and they're like, yo, what's your name? And that's when we learn his name is Chan, and they grow this brotherhood in this family, and that's what Cyclone does. He brings in people, he helps them out. However, it's all fun and games, with Chan and them, but Mr. Big puts a hit out on Chan for some other reasons that I don't want to go into, and it gets to a point where the Triads invade the walled city, and that's where we get a lot more fighting happening between Chan, the Triads, a couple of Cyclone's people just fighting. And the fights are really well done. We don't get guns until like the last 20 minutes of the movie. It's a lot of hand to hand. There's a lot of, knives and swords and stuff coming out. And it's really well done. There's a lot of wire work mixed in with some CG stuff. And at first, like, you may think it looks weird, but it works really well. And Chan is a good fighter. Cyclone and his people, they're really good fighters. They do the whole slow motion things that happen we see in these martial arts movies, and it's really well done. But the story as a whole, you're like, oh, this is good. It has that emotional feel to it that a lot of martial arts movies don't really get to. But I was really intrigued with it. It's like 2 hours, but it's well worth it. It's a good action movie. You can watch it in English. I didn't watch it in English though. I changed it back to the Mandarin, but it is dope. It's a really cool movie on Amazon Prime if you're looking for something with martial arts, but a little bit of heart. Definitely check this out. Oh, going back to Mr. Big's henchman, King, he has this thing called like spirit powers where he does this a lot and he doesn't get hurt. So like somebody could come up to him with a bat and he says something and he puts his fingers out and he could just get hit with a bat or get stabbed with a knife and the knife will break on him. And once he starts fighting, this is probably like after an hour of the movie, when he gets into fights, it's crazy because he'll take on 2-3 people at the same time and he'll just channel his power and you can hear them like, yo, he got spirit power, and he's breaking bats and knives and stabbing people. Like, his fighting is crazy. It is really dope when he gets into fights. But Twilight of the Warriors, Walden, dope movie. If you watched it, let me know what you thought about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Deuces.